It is 5:40 on CHEX Daily, and it's time for Teacher. And you found a really interesting article recently with Today's Parent.
Yes, so Today's Parent just released their list of the top 100 Canadian kids' books of all time.
Wow.
So it's hot off the press in their June issue, but you can also go online, and there's a nice printable version that I snagged if you want to get a hold of it. Yeah, so I brought in some of my favorites from the list to share.
That's awesome.
And this is clever because it's color-coded too, based on
It is, yeah, so
children's
they've got
ages.
baby and toddler, preschool, little kid, and big kid, so depending what age your child is at, you can get some good recommendations.
Okay, cool.
I had one quick question. Does the bookmobile still come to school? Or like the book fair?
Oh, yes, we have a book fair at our school, I know, once a year.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
mine
cool.
is too.
Yeah,
I
kids
always
love
love
that.
the book fair day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll dig in first with some of the picture books. So some favorite authors made the list more than once. So Robert Munch is, of course, on there a couple of times or more. I like some of his books more than others, so I was
Yes.
glad to see The Paper Bag Princess on there. I just like the message of it.
I agree. Some of them are silly for the fun of silliness.
Yeah, exactly.
And some have a great message.
Yeah, though kids still like the fact that their parents or their teacher have to say the word bum when they read this one. So that adds to the joy there.
You know what? It's literacy.
Exactly. Barbara Reed's books are awesome. The illustrations are so unique because she does them with plasticine.
Yeah.
So that's a neat way to pull the kids in. She's got a couple of books on this list as well. The Party is one example, but it's just sort of a cool tie-in with a different type of illustration.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Very neat.
Phoebe Gilman's book, Something from Nothing, is on the list. Her books always have like really nice messages for kids, and this one's about a grandpa keeps turning a coat into something else until there's nothing left but a button, and what do you do with that, and so on. So it's just a sweet story.
Oh,
So
I'm gonna
that's
write that one
a
down.
nice one, yes.
Oh, and of course, a very famous Canadian one coming up next.
Yes, the hockey sweaters.
This is awesome.
So you can't have a Canadian list without at least one hockey book on there. No, you have to be careful because some kids might be traumatized by the idea of wearing a Leaf sweater.
Right.
So you have to be careful which kids you read it to. So
wow.
yeah, make that
Someone's
decision
showing your
carefully.
colors.
But, yes. So that one's good too. What's great about this list is they've got lots of books for the big kids as well, and sometimes they're harder to. Yeah, it's harder to find books for them that they're going to love. So. Farley Mowatt's books, Owls in the Family. I can remember doing this one as a grade 4 novel study with Mrs. Clancy, and we loved it. His books are great for kids who are kind of into animals, nature, sort of the outdoors type of thing. He has lots of different novels as well, so he's a good choice. Gordon Corman, This Can't Be Happening at MacDonald Hall. What is great about this book is he wrote this in grade 7. He wrote the manuscript as part of his grade 7 English course,
Wow.
which is kind of cool to talk to the kids about, especially those who are sort of aspiring writers themselves.
Yeah.
It's kind of a neat fact, and of course he went on to have a career with lots of other books too, but sort of a cool tie-in there.
That's cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
I love that.
This one, what I love about this list is even though the authors are Canadian, it doesn't necessarily mean that all of the books, the themes, and the settings are going to be in Canada.
Sure.
This one, The Breadwinner, is about a girl who lives in Afghanistan under Taliban rule. So it's great for kids to kind of learn a little bit of world issues and things that are going on outside of our own country too. So I was glad to see that one make the list.
That's a great way to expose kids
for
to other
sure.
cultures.
Elijah of Buxton. This one, it takes place in Ontario, but it's about a boy who's born into freedom, but on a settlement for runaway slaves.
Okay.
In Ontario, which is kind of cool. So again, it's exposing kids to things that have gone on in history and maybe a little bit outside of their own, their own neighborhood and that sort of thing, but educational and interesting for them, yeah.
Okay.
Another one that's great for the older kids is Silver Wing, and I actually didn't even know that this author was Canadian until I looked at this list, but these are fantasy novels, and the characters are bats. And that might not appeal to everyone, but these have been hugely popular with the kids and totally award-winning, and there's a series of them as well. So
I don't know this
another
series.
Yeah, so another great idea for kids who are looking for something to get onto.
Do you have a favorite, personal favorite?
From that list, Anne of Green Gables would
Anne of
definitely
Green Gables.
be my favorite from the list, yes. And it's good how they've got them coded by age, because Anne of Green Gables is definitely one for bigger kids. I did it as a read aloud with my girls just this past year, but they wouldn't have been able to read it on their own yet. But some kids think that they've read Anne of Green Gables because there are sort of abridged versions and kind of watered down for the little kids ones,
yeah,
which is
absolutely.
great, so they can access the story. But yeah, it's definitely for older kids to read on their own.
So what about stories that are kind of connected to television series? Do you find it hard to separate that with children, or try to encourage them to read the book version before they see the TV show?
Not necessarily, because sometimes the book appeals to them more when they've already seen the movie or seen the show, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because sometimes after you've seen the movie, you're in the store, and of course there's merchandise and whatever, and that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
And the book's always better anyways.
Yeah. Exactly.
I find it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's a great
thanks
list.
for
Also, I
having me.
wanted to point at Jacob Tutu Meets the Hooded Bank. That was an awesome book when I was a kid growing up.
I'm
Loved
glad
it.
you liked a book.
No, I like many books.
Good.
All right.
Glad to hear it.
Thank you very much, Kate Winn, for joining us. We have the roundtable coming up next.
Thanks.